Welcome to the new show, The Weekly Wrap.
The show where we wrap up all the week's TV action in a new show format, which is, in fact, by itself and not part of the regular Comic Confidential show, as
That
it were.
previously was.
Yeah.
Why are we doing this, Troy?
Well, we're doing this because what we're finding is a lot of people are not necessarily as up to date with the TV shows as we are. So what they're having to do is skip and, change things and do all this kind of like dancing around the regular podcast to get to the next segment. So for the people that are up to date, this is a great way for them to continue listening without having to listen to the whole hour and a half in one go or anything like that. And for the people that aren't, they can just go back and pick and choose what shows they want to listen to over the course of half an hour, not an hour and a half. Or something like that.
Yeah, I think you pretty much nailed it on the head, mate.
I think I did. So all the shows are going to remain the same. We will continue to look at that format as we go. We'll probably change some things up as we kind of hash out how this is going to work. But basically, as always, we're going to start with The Walking Dead, man.
The Walking Dead. New best friends. Rick and the gang meet a strange new group and attempt to strike a deal as they continue to rally troops for the upcoming war against the Saviors. Daryl is reunited with Carol. And that rhymes?
It does rhyme.
Rick rhymes?
Oh, that rhymes too.
Yeah.
Yeah, so this is, man, who the fuck are these people?
I can tell you, they're not part of the comics.
I would fucking hope so. Because here's the thing.
They're fucking weird.
They are weird as shit. And what I don't understand is why are they so weird? Like, why are they so weird?
Yeah, why do they speak the way they do?
Yeah,
it's like I don't know, is it like old English? Is it overly formal? Is it just fucking stupid?
I think it's not even, it's definitely not overly formal. I can tell you that much. Yeah. I don't believe it's old English. It's kind of just like what you would expect in a post-apocalyptic wasteland, maybe.
Yeah, like where the English language is getting forgotten.
Yeah, exactly. But what we're talking about is potentially 12 months to 2 years after the original events of this outbreak. If you look at how, like, baby Judith is still a fucking baby.
But fucking little Carl's like 18 foot tall now.
Yeah, so, there are some continuity issues, but what you're talking about is you're dead set talking about a couple of years at best since the outbreak. I don't think you can fucking lose your language that quickly if you are in with a whole bunch of other people that also speak English. Sure, if you're by yourself, yes. If you're with a French person who only speaks French, maybe. But at least you're still conversing with someone.
Maybe.
But these people are all well and truly speak English.
I was really scared that they might have been the Whisperers, the way they were like walking around and stuff. I was like, no, it's too fucking early.
Can I ask a question? Why the fuck did they have to walk around so much just to make a fucking circle? Like, I understand you can barely speak English, but you understand the formation of a circle, I'm assuming.
I bet you they're fucking hipsters.
Hipsters. And they're like, we're making this circle ironically, man.
Yeah.
It's like, we're never going to conform to like what you believe a circle should look like or how a circle should be formed. So this is how we're going to do it. We're going to walk around like a bunch of fucking idiots for a while, and then we're going to make a circle. Just a fucking perfectly normal circle.
Do you know what? They would have to pre-organize. Okay, guys, this is how we're going to do it. So can you be at practice at 8:15 in the morning?
Yeah. This group of people would spend 90% of their time organizing formations of how to best make the worst looking formation of a circle.
Yeah.
It's because they're doing it ironically, don't forget.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, so it's like it's all perfectly pre-performed, but it looks like a mess.
Yeah.
That's
and
irony.
You know what gives it away? That they're fucking hipsters? The haircuts.
The haircuts. I don't actually remember what the name of the main chick was.
I couldn't tell you for the life of me.
I get why Rick's doing it. Like, I understand why he wants to do something with this group, because there's a fucking shit ton of them.
Oh yeah,
there's a lot of them.
They got a whole junk town.
They have a massive junk town, and we're going to talk about that in a second. But first, we have to talk about the elephant in the room, which is the gladiator walker thing that is like
so amazing.
It was pretty cool, But what, like, it was cool and it looked cool, and we haven't seen anything like this before on the show, and it was very like Evil Dead Army of Darkness ish, or like maybe even like
Resident Evil. Or something?
Resident Evil, zombie Mad Max, like whatever you want to say. Like it looked really cool. So Rick starts fighting this thing, right? And it's obviously it's got like spikes everywhere and all this sort of stuff. When he started fighting, my partner looked at me like once it was all over, and she's like, I really think he went for the head palm way too soon. Like he was kind of almost sadistically stabbing his own hand on the head. There were other ways. He hadn't tried a single thing else yet, but he just went straight to impale my own hand on the thing.
Can I just say, do you think this is like, you know how Rick always has his hand, like a hand injured? Do you think that's like their little nod to comic readers? Like, yeah, we know he loses his hand, so we're going to like wink, wink, we're going to always fuck it up for him.
Yeah, I don't think they'll ever have him lose his actual hand.
Yeah.
But I think definitely it's a nod. It's kind of like, you know, well, we can't cut the whole fucking thing off.
We're just going to always hurt it.
Maybe they have actual, like, some weird hand fetish
Maybe.
or something. And it's just like, oh, you know what would be sexy? If Rick fucked his hand up again.
Yeah. Oh, that's so hard.
It's like, you know, they do it. It's almost like every season.
Yeah.
Which is borderline insane.
It is.
But
like that hand would be fucked.
It would be well and truly fucked. All right, now let's talk about... Are you finished with that? Like, are you finished with the
I'm
Gladiator
done.
dude?
Yeah.
Because it was cool. Don't get me wrong. I actually really thought it was cool. I don't really know why any of it had to happen.
But I liked it.
Because apparently she didn't even know that he was in there or something. Like, it wasn't like an actual...
No, surely she did.
No. She said, like, he didn't know what it was, and she's just like, oh, that's Barry or something like that. So they didn't make him that way.
Yeah. He was just there.
He was like, that's it. Something like that. Anyway, I don't know. Let's talk about the real elephant in the room, right? Now, this is the whole conspiracy theory / is it a blooper? Is it a continuation of the actual like story in a subtle sort of nod to what could happen in the future? But when you see Rick on top of the junk town,
yes,
and he's looking around, some eagle-eyed viewers pointed out the fact that you could see what looks to be a plane flying in the background.
I went back and I saw this. That whole scene, like, let's just say this TV's got, like, this station has money. That was some pretty bad CGI. So they've purposely put that there.
You think they've purposely done it?
Yeah.
It's not just a blooper?
No. And, like, you look at it, it doesn't look like a plane. Like, if we're being honest, it looks like a fucking UFO because it's going very fucking fast.
Yeah.
I think it's just meant to be a bird. Like, honestly.
Meant to be a bird.
Yeah. Just like in the background.
It's very much in the background.
Yeah.
So you don't think plane at all.
Nah.
So you don't think this will come back in the story as like at some point, because like when you think about it, I mean, there is the possibility, like if you've still got working vehicles and you've still got like, you know, there is no reason why you couldn't get a crop duster working.
But that was going very quick.
Oh, crop dusters go quick, man. You've never been in one. You don't know.
That looked like fighter jet quick. That's what I mean. It's like I could get like it might be a plane,
okay, so
but
then
it's going
why
too quick.
Then why couldn't you have a fighter jet?
Well, you could, I guess.
But
what's a fighter jet doing in Kansas? I know where they are.
It's a fighter jet. It can literally go wherever it wants to go as the crow flies. It doesn't have to take roads. There are no blocked anything.
Ain't no roads here.
Yeah, exactly. You know, and maybe they're out there. They've got the need for speed, and they're just taking off. But I think I would like to think that it will come back.
Yeah, it'd be good. I would like that.
I honestly believe it's a blooper that they just, you know, because it happens all the
time. You think like it's stock footage and it's like it's in there.
Yeah.
Basically, that could be.
But now they will try to write it into the show somehow.
Or they'll just forget about it forever.
They'll try, but I don't think the internet will let them forget. That's the thing.
Well, you got to remember these episodes are already like in the bag a long time ago.
Well, that's true too, you know, but we'll see what happens. Maybe later on down the track they'll introduce Maverick and Goose.
Maybe.
Or someone.
See, the reason I think it's also a bird because they're in a fucking junkyard.
Well, yeah, that's true. Could be an ibis.
Yeah. Fucking ibises.
All right. Let's talk about Daryl and Carol because that was pretty sweet.
I didn't cry. You cried.
I don't know. I had something in my eye. That's for sure.
Fucking so dusty around here lately.
But do you think he did the right thing in not telling Carol about Glenn and Abraham.
For the story, yeah.
Well, yeah, for the plot.
Personally,
but
no.
Yeah, like just in real life.
Yeah.
IRL, what do you think?
I think he should have told her.
I think it's going to come back and bite him in the ass later.
Yeah, exactly.
That he didn't.
Don't they ever watch The Flash? Don't lie to anyone.
Yeah,
Just tell the truth.
Just tell the truth. Like, but as Morgan said, if you had have told her the truth, she'd be here.
Yeah.
And she'd be ready to fight and all that sort of stuff. And nobody wants to drag her back into it. She seems quite content where she is, but I actually don't buy for a second that she's actually content. Like, I don't think she's happy where she is.
No.
I think she's just trying her hardest to be happy where she is.
It just means we're going to lose someone else for her to fire up again.
Yeah.
That's all it means. Catch you later, Morgan.
Yeah, well, do you think?
Yep.
That'd be a big loss for her, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah. Interesting.
She's changed her ways.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think that's what's going to happen. Because you see Morgan's like starting to get a little bit feisty now.
Well, that's true. He's getting a little bit more, what's the word? Defensive,
Yeah.
I would say, almost. It's like, you know what? I've fucking made my decision, dude. And this is why I made it.
Yeah.
More so than the pacifist
And they took
approach.
his stick.
They took his damn stick. Yeah, he was not happy about that, was he? Two very quick things before we move on. Daryl, what the fuck, man? Like, you're just going to leave. You're going to leave the kingdom and just go out on your own to get to Alexandria when you know there's a whole bunch of saviors out to get you. Like, that's such a dumb move. And Rosita as well is actually starting to piss me off, man.
She's going to get killed.
She will have to get killed because her attitude is leaning towards her most definitely doing something stupid. It's either going to be her or Sasha that do it.
Yep.
But she is actually being a complete stone cold bitch.
Yeah.
And that ain't cool.
Rate
that
it
ain't cool.
Rate it or hate it?
I rate it. I hope it really starts to pick up because
it's getting towards where it needs to.
It's getting towards the pointy end. But let's kind of see, like, they've been dancing around this will they, won't they join sort of thing for a couple episodes now. So let's see what happens. What about you?
I rate it.
Cool.
Yeah.
Easy
Let's move on.
Let's move on to Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Simmons and Daisy are the last two humans standing and must fight to escape a shield controlled by the LMD replacement of Coulson, Mace, and Big Mac. Meanwhile, Ada has plans for Radcliffe and the Superior. Troy, what is going on?
Oh, man. First off, before we really kind of get into it, can I just say, I don't know what you thought, but this to me, this is without a doubt, by far, 100% the show of the week, without doubt, in my mind at all.
More twists and turns, mate.
But potentially, like one of the episodes of the season, of any of the seasons that we've reviewed, and probably one of the best episodes of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. that we've seen.
Oh, I got two words for you. Raw emotion.
Raw emotion. Holy
That's
shit.
Fuck.
Man, can I tell you, Elizabeth Henstridge can fucking act, man.
Act the fuck out of it.
She can, like, we get a lot of people who, they'll really try to cry, and they might get like one little tear that'll come out one eye and stuff like that, and they'll keep blinking the other one, trying to get that,
trying to squeeze
get
it out.
the tear to like roll, but it just never happens. She was bawling.
Oh man,
almost,
it was
man.
fucking. I almost wanted to cry.
Her scene, like, now we have to reference the fact that this was written and directed by Jed Whedon, who is a co-creator of the show. And he hasn't, I don't know if he's directed an episode before. I know he's written episodes before, but he's never done both. I don't believe. So this is like to have him, one of the actual creators, and obviously the brother of Joss Whedon, who's done many, many brilliant things in his time. You could tell that this was a step above everything else. And he brought this raw emotion, man. These interactions with Fitz and Simmons, like that first interaction when it's like, you're an LMD. It's like, no, you're an LMD. And just the fucking like, the drama. And even Ian DeCarlo's performance, Fitz.
Yeah.
Even his performance was great.
This was the best acted like comic show I've seen in a long time.
Yeah, this episode.
Outside of Netflix, holy.
For sure, man. And when you're talking about like the next interaction that Daisy has with Simmons, like later on, it's the same thing. And then there's that little hug that they have, and she uses her quake powers or whatever to like feel her bones, and and then she could tell that she's obviously not an LMD because she's got fucking inhuman powers. Holy shit, just a roller coaster of emotions.
Troy,
yes.
Do you rate it or do you hate it?
Well, before we get into that, we have to talk about how it finished, because this wraps up the LMD arc.
Oh yeah, you're right. And now we're going to go into the
we're going into the framework.
The framework.
Yeah. So like this ends with Daisy and Simmons injecting themselves into the framework in an attempt to kind of rescue everybody else that has been put in there. And you see them all in these like different sort of situations. Coulson's a teacher. Fitz seems to be
with another woman
because Simmons is dead apparently, but she's obviously not.
Yep.
And then you've got Daisy, and she's with Ward, and like Ward's in the bed. Are they going to bring back that dude next year? Are they going to bring back Ward for not next year, for in April when it comes back?
Yeah.
Are they going to bring him back?
Yep.
And the biggest one, May, agent of Hydra.
Cool.
Hydra
Cool as
looking
fuck.
like it is running the world
Yep.
within this framework. And obviously we need to see what happens with Holden Radcliffe, because even though he died,
He'll
he's
be in the
still going to
system.
be in the framework. So let's see what happens, man. But I am fucking pumped. If you can't tell, it's a rate.
It's a rate.
million
It's a rate
times
all
rate.
around.
What is next?
Supergirl. And I'm going to let you read this.
Supergirl, Mr. and Mrs. Mixus-Pitalik, we'll say. I think that's pretty good. So Mr. Mixus-Pitalik arrives in National City on Valentine's Day and declares his love for Kara. After turning him down, the magical imp terrorizes National City as he goes on a wooing spree to win her affections. Now, thoughts overall?
Overall, I really, really like this episode.
Thank fuck it wasn't just me. Because I was really freaking out, because I was sitting there the whole time, and we don't have a great track record with Supergirl at all. But like literally the only note I wrote down for this show is, not gonna lie, I didn't mind it.
I fucking loved it. This, if Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. wasn't as good as it was, this would have been show of the week.
Yeah, and while I did have my concerns in regards to how they had portrayed Mixus-Pitalik to be this like young, handsome, like guy, and not the little sort of like puffy hair, like puffy white hair,
old
man imp sort of thing that he is. I was initially really concerned. It's like, okay, of course, fucking Supergirl, you're going to make him a handsome dude and all this sort of stuff. I thought maybe when she convinced him to say his own name or whatever, he'd maybe turn back into his form and then fuck off. But it didn't happen. And by the end of it, I didn't actually care.
Yeah, I fucking enjoyed it all the way through.
I was 100% completely into it. The only thing I didn't really understand, and maybe you can shed some light on it, but the ending. So she creates this whole massive convoluted sort of thing where she kind of encloses the Fortress of Solitude and then forces him to, spell out his own name backwards and all that sort of stuff, because Jean happened to say at one point during the episode that, some people who write shit down, like that's basically saying it or whatever. That's fine. But this guy has the ability to do anything, right? So
he could have just turned the keyboard into English.
Well, but yeah, he probably could have. But he could have also have just taken them both out of there, I would assume, and take them anywhere. Because it wasn't his own life that he was worried about, which is the lovely thing. He wasn't concerned about him dying. He was concerned about Kara killing herself.
Yes.
Right? Because he couldn't stop that. He couldn't, he has no power to do anything around that. But I just wonder why they didn't, actually, if you've got that many that much power, if you can just click your fingers and, Mon-El is gone.
Yeah.
Surely you can do that with the both of you to just wherever you want to do.
I guess it's because she was choosing to kill herself. Like, he can't remove her from the situation.
Maybe.
Because, he's pretty
maybe.
clear. Like, I can't stop you from killing yourself. So if you want to stay here and kill yourself.
Okay, well, that's fair. That's fair. That gives me some justification. Because that was, one of the only things that I was kind of like, well, that's a little bit of a letdown on an otherwise fantastic episode of a show that has very few and far between fantastic episodes.
Yeah.
What about when he flew in Superman's costume.
So good. Just so good.
That was so well done. You never thought for a second
No.
it was going to be like Tyler Hoechlin as Superman. But, you know, you're kind of like, fuck yeah, like what's happening now? And then he turns around and he's like, you know, wearing the full suit, but it's got the big M on the front and stuff like that. That to me was really good. Had the really weird like subplot of, not weird subplot of Valentine's Day, because it's around the whole thing, like around the time frame that these episodes came out was roughly Valentine's Day. That the Valentine's Day episodes always happens. I didn't really buy into any of that, I guess. If the episode had a downfall, like Wynn's relationship with the alien didn't really care. Even Maggie and Alex
didn't care.
It's kind of like
I'm over that relationship now.
Well, I didn't care until she actually told her story, and I'm like, oh yeah, okay, that's actually some really good writing, because it was actually.
Is it, or is it just immaturity on her fucking behalf now that she's an adult?
No, look, I understand that she can make her own decisions now, and like, you know, that happened when she was 14 or whatever, and it's time to move on. She's in her late 20s. You've had plenty of time to move past that, but you know, these are things that we don't understand. These are these events that happen in your life that are so life changing. You can't actually ever fathom what that can do to a person. And I think the way they portrayed that was actually really well done. If I didn't really buy the whole thing, that one scene, sold. So man, Mr. and Mrs. Mixtuspitalik, I'm just gonna keep saying it. Rate it or hate it.
Fucking rate it, man.
Yeah, it's got to be.
If these episodes keep coming this good, oh man, Supergirl's going to be good.
I rate it as well, obviously, but I don't know what it did so differently. You know what I mean? Like, was it just the character that brought in this dynamic that was different? Is it because we didn't see James for once and there wasn't that whole thing?
Do you think we're secretly, subconsciously happy that Monel and Kara got together?
Maybe. There could be,
and we're 14-year-old girls on the inside.
It's highly likely that we are, but I don't want to say it, but I definitely ship that relationship.
Fuck, I hate you. Let's move on.
All right.
Legends of Tomorrow, Camelot /3000.
Yeah.
The Legends are still on the hunt for the Spear of Destiny and learn that fragments are being guarded in different time periods by members of the JSA. This I have to talk about. The team head to Detroit in the year 3000 and Camelot in medieval England in an attempt to retrieve the fragments before the Legion of Doom can get their hands on them.
Okay, go.
How did he know like people are going to be coming for him? Because he didn't have the medallion to find these fucking pieces. This is a big plot hole.
So they obviously knew that the Spear of Destiny was all powerful and it couldn't fall into the wrong hands. And they actually reference that when they find the Spear of Destiny. Because remember, that was the mission that the JSA had once I think Vixen had left and, you know, she spoke to Obsidian later.
Yeah.
And that's what he said. They all went on this mission and they all disappeared. And that's why they disappeared. So they found the Spear of Destiny and they realized that it couldn't be... It's not necessarily that he knew the Legion of Doom was coming for it, but he knew that someone would come for it. So that's how I see that playing out. So they've decided to take 3 members, and I don't know who the other member is yet because we haven't seen that. Mm-hmm. So they took that guy. What's that guy's name? Or was that Obsidian?
That was Obsidian.
Yeah. So they took him to Detroit in the year 3000. Stargirl went back to medieval England and created Camelot, which was completely fucking bullshit. The whole thing I fucking hated.
Oh, me too. Medieval.
I'll get to that in a sec. But yeah, and then we don't know who the last one is.
Yeah.
And I can't remember. I don't know why I don't know Lance Henriksen's character's name. Because he was the other one. He's the one who told Vixen that that's the whole story.
Yeah.
In a previous thing. You know what my problem is with this particular episode?
What?
So the whole thing is based around Vixen and Sarah having a bit of a tiff in regards to her being so pissed off that she let Rip Hunter go.
Yeah.
Right? And she said, like, she was trying to save Jax and all that sort of stuff. And she's like, we're not killers. Right? And then Stein makes this throwaway comment about, oh, well, except for you and, you know, Mr. Rory and all that sort of stuff, whatever. That's fine. But we're not killers. Think about that. We're not killers. right? She doesn't want any of them to become killers.
How many people got killed in that battle?
The final battle, there was fucking blood everywhere.
Yeah, this was the bloodiest episode of Legends I've ever seen.
Everybody had killed someone at some point. Vixen was killing the fuck out of people. Ray was killing people, I'm sure. Even, why do I keep forgetting this dude's name? The historian guy. Citizen Steele.
Yeah.
But like, what's his real name? It doesn't matter. Handsome dude. A haircut.
Yeah, haircut.
Haircut 2.0. But yeah, like it was very much a lot of killing. So the whole point of that whole argument at the start was null and void because they were all in fact killers.
Yes.
Which makes zero sense to me. The only people that didn't kill were still Jax, who's basically like, I know, Sarah stopped me from killing you, Rip, but I'll still fucking kill you, dude.
I'm pretty sure he's killed people.
I'm pretty sure he's killed people before too.
Mate, you shoot fucking fire.
Well, look, yeah, realistically, like, it's not all just explosions that people flip over barrels and stuff. Like, people are going to die at some point.
He probably lost a leg in that process.
Yeah, there's a very good chance he suffered third-degree burns.
He's bleeding out.
And died in hospital.
Yeah.
Another problem that I had with it, apart from, okay, I understand this was like, it was a bit of a story for Ray, in the sense, for him to be
one-upped.
Kind of, yeah, like, I don't know. They wanted him to kind of be the hero, and he had this, terrible British accent and all that sort of stuff. That's fine. That's fine. I don't get into the Camelot setting. I don't get into a Stargirl creating this whole, like, reality. Like, she made this happen.
Yeah.
Because there was no one there, so she created Camelot. And what did she do? Did she put all of these people in power?
Yeah, maybe.
Did she make them all knights? Did she?
She held a networking night and everyone rocked up.
Like, maybe, like, but I don't get it. Now the other thing, like with all of it, every week almost it seems with this show they are fake killing someone.
Yes.
So we had the fake killing of Ray at the end, where like. Again, Haircut 2.0 looks at his book and he sees that Ray is being carried off on a shield or whatever, and he's like, oh, this dude's going to die. And then he runs off after Damien Dark, or rides off after Damien Dark, and they have this epic sword fight. First of all, Ray just beat Damien Dark in a sword fight.
Don't get me started.
Do not get me started. He had the lightsaber or whatever it was, which was humorous. I did appreciate the humor behind the lightsaber. But I think it's ridiculous, A, that he beat Damien Dark. And B, then it's like another fake out death.
Yeah.
Like, Ray's not dead. And even if he was like injured or whatever, they're just going to take him back to the ship and put him under the thing, and Gideon's going to fix him. So I guess what I'm trying to say, I hate it this week.
Yeah, me too.
Simple as that. I do want to see where Rip goes because he does seem to have control of Gideon, which I think is cool. Mm-hmm. But I did not get into the setting this week at all.
Did not rate it at all. Let's move on. The Flash. Attack on Gorilla City, Part 1. Barry, Cisco, Caitlin, and Julian travel to Gorilla City on Earth 2 in an attempt to save Harrison Wells. Grodd has plans for Barry as he uses him to overthrow Gorilla Overlord Solivar. Isn't Solivar... Now, Solivar's a good guy.
Is he?
I thought he was in the comics.
I'll be honest with you, I don't know enough about the character.
Because I was really thrown.
I have not really sort of like looked into this character in particular. I haven't really kind of like read any major stories that, surround him. I know more about Grodd, obviously, than him. But, I mean, yeah.
I'm sure he was a good guy.
He might turn out to be a good guy.
I bet he does. Second episode. Meanwhile, things heat up between Wally and Jesse. Can I just say off the bat straight away?
Yeah.
Did not rate this episode.
Oh, me neither.
I thought it was... This is one of the worst episodes I've seen in The Flash in a while.
For me, first of all, can we just say Wally and Jesse, while I don't really care about the relationship so much, I feel like it's been forced.
Oh, so forced.
To make an actual relationship there happen. I do like the fact that their celebrity couple name would be Jelly. So let's just get that out there. So, let's throw that out there. I ship the name Jelly, but the relationship I'm not with. Is she really going to leave her dad for this guy that she spent a handful of days with in the grand scheme of things? They've hung out for months at best.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like, yeah, I'm just going to leave my Earth now.
Yeah, it's like, I'm not leaving like my family. I'm leaving my planet.
Yeah, I'm going to leave my reality.
Yeah.
And all my friends at school.
I felt like this whole Killer Frost part, like they're trying to set her up to become Killer Frost in the worst and weak way possible.
Yeah.
Just not digging it.
Just make it happen.
Yeah.
Or move on with the
Exactly.
storyline.
I'm done with it. I'm so done with it.
Look, the problem that I had, and it's probably my own fault. Like, I built this episode up.
Yeah, so did I.
I thought this was going to be awesome, man.
Man, the poster artwork that you see for it.
Oh, everything.
Oh,
like
so good.
Rumble in the Jungle, all that sort of stuff. Like, it looked so cool. There was like heaps of fan art that was coming through as well that looked just as good. And the whole thing was built up probably in my own head. But the thing is, and I know that when you're talking about the CG for this show, like, it's compared to what we've had in previous days. Like, yes,
Yeah.
the CGI is fantastic. That's fine, right? But I think we've had a better looking Grodd previously.
Yeah, absolutely.
By a long shot.
I think it's because there was more of them. They had to spread that budget out.
Yeah, there was probably one scene with Solivar that I'm kind of like, fuck yeah, that was actually pretty cool. Like,
Yeah.
that looked fucking, like, awesome. But for the most part, even the lighting was off.
Yeah.
And
I especially noticed when Grodd and Sullivan were in the I guess the cages.
Yeah.
Like he was like fucking, there was a spotlight on him.
yeah, but and it's also when Barry was in the arena and it's kind of like circling around him as he's saying this, like, this big speech about how I'm not going to kill him, I'm not going to kill him,
Yeah.
like all that sort of stuff. Like, it's like they're trying to get shadowing and lighting and all that sort of stuff based on where the position of the camera is, but it was
Yeah.
kind of like a really weird yellow kind of sheen.
Yeah.
Not for me.
Not for me.
When you do the big wide shots of Gorilla City and stuff like that, but when you do the big wide shots of Gorilla City, that looked cool.
Yeah, but I mean, overall, the CGI was a little bit of a letdown.
Yeah. A couple of things I did like, though. Julian. I'm digging that dude, man.
He's good.
I don't care if he dresses up exactly like fucking Indiana Jones. That kid can do what he wants to do. I do like the dynamic between him and Caitlin.
Yeah.
Like, I would like a relationship to develop. I do want the kid to stick around. I'm not shy about saying that on this show. I think he's a good addition. I also like the interactions between Harrison Wells and HR, right, sort of towards the end. Like, it's kind of like, he must have, like, we must have you to thank. And
Yeah, he's
Cisco's
like,
just
no, he's a fake.
Yeah, it's like you wouldn't even
He's
know an
useless.
ATM pin code. It's like it's 4 digits. Like, how could you not? Yeah, it's like it was pretty funny. And when you're talking about the guy that plays the character whose name fucking completely escapes me, and I have no notes with it, but
He kills it.
he kills it. Like, jumping between the two, it's
Yeah.
fantastic. I loved it. Last thing before we move on, though, I think it's pretty obvious what our ratings are. But last thing, how does Grodd get
pull-
Gypsy?
Oh, who knows?
How?
Who knows?
I need to know. I need this answer because, like, she's not from Earth 2.
No, she's not. She's from Earth 19.
Yeah. So she's from HR's Earth. She said that. She was
Yeah.
like, she was chasing him. Like, that's... He didn't go to Earth 2. There was no reason for her to be on Earth 2. Like, it doesn't make any sense that Grodd would have any connection to her whatsoever other than a fucking plot device.
Unless she's been, like, chased off.
Maybe. Who knows, man?
And, of
Like,
course, she goes to Earth 2 because she went there for a battle.
yeah, look, let's see.
Yeah.
Let's see how it plays out before we get too crazy with it. Also, getting real sick of Barry not being able to dodge the most simple shit like blow darts.
My God.
When you are apparently the fastest man alive.
Yeah. And he says, we're in a trap. Your sensors should be going through the roof, mate.
Like, literally, like, it's not
I know.
any faster than a bullet.
It's
and you have
a lot
shown
slower.
you have shown many times that you can just pick bullets out of thin air.
Yeah.
So it's his speed. He's as fast as his plot allows him to be.
Yeah.
And that fucks me off
It's that's the biggest downfall to the Flash.
because that is not quick.
No, it's not.
That is like Yo-Yo on Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. not being able to outrun an explosion.
Yeah, exactly.
So frustrating.
Very.
So for this week, I'm gonna hate it, and that's a rare hate for the Flash. I do look forward to what happens next week, but my hopes are now very much grounded.
Yeah. I'm going in, no expectations now.
Yeah.
And I did not rate this week either. Let's move on to Arrow, the Sin Eater. China White, Carrie Cutter.
Carrie
and,
Cutter.
And Liza?
Liza. It was
Liza?
Yeah.
I could never tell. Liza Warner break out of prison and go on a rampage as they search for Tobias Church's lost millions. Who the fuck is that now? Seriously. I know who he is, but like he's been dead in this.
Yeah,
like
but
this
they're
season.
kind of bringing it back to kind of it's like
You mean filling the episodes out?
Yeah.
As Oliver sets out to stop them, he is confronted by the ACU out to arrest him for the murder of Detective Billy Malone, a chain of events set in motion by Prometheus. So we think.
Now.
Yeah.
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 I want to be more positive because season 5 of Arrow has been quite good.
Yeah.
And it's been fairly consistently good.
When I saw China White and Cupid in this, I switched off.
Yeah, it's okay. This is now the 3rd time that you've brought Cupid back into the show. This character is not that fucking good.
No.
You do not need to keep going back to the well with this particular character. And she did nothing in this episode anyway. So
She tried to run away most of it.
yeah, like what was the point of any of it? So yeah, you're right. And like this, you just like this was a filler when we've just had a filler.
I know.
We've now had 2 filler episodes in a row and nothing is moving forward, and it's quite frustrating, in my opinion.
Oh, I agree 100%. The most exciting thing was that Oliver's girlfriend got sacked.
Yeah, and this, I guess, we do get to see Thea a lot more in this episode than we have previously, and that's actually, once upon a time I would have said, "Why, Lord, why?" But now it's become more of a good thing. I do like how she's become as a character now that she's not Speedy.
Yeah.
Now that she's not part of the vigilante team, even though they don't really know what to do with her, but she just came in and she just did what she thought was necessary. And while it mightn't have been the nicest thing that you could possibly do to someone, I don't think any of us really give a shit what happens to Susan Williams right now. But she did it with the express purpose to protect Oliver, exactly like her mother would have done. And I like that little throwback.
Yeah, absolutely. Do you think he's going to have his Iron Man moment and say, "I'm the Green Arrow"?
Yeah, I think he's going to have to.
Yeah.
It's getting to a point now where, there's a lot of pressure is coming from Prometheus, kind of trying to expose him here, there, and like the other. There's this whole thing hanging over his head like they've just been exposed, which for a second made me think, who the fuck could know that?
Yeah.
Like that would have to almost be, Adrian, the DA.
Yeah.
But I don't think it's it.
No.
But I think, and even the police chief says, "Oh, that's exactly what the Green Arrow said."
Yeah, it's everything. It's too on the nose. I'm not liking it.
I think it's getting to a point where he's just going to have to get up and he's just going to have to say, "I am the Green Arrow."
Yeah.
Suck it up, motherfuckers, because I'm also the mayor. Try and take this off me.
Yeah, I'll shoot you.
Let's see what happens. So disappointing. That it was another filler episode.
Yeah.
Disappointing that they're bringing back characters that don't need to be brought back. Is there like a big fan call for like Cupid?
Must
or, be. Lisa Walker or whatever her name was, and China White. Like she hasn't been around for the longest time. I don't think there was any need for any of it. This whole like side story of Tobias Church having this $100 million just lying around.
Exactly. Like when they brought out the Tobias Church drop, I was just like, "Oh, fuck off."
Yeah, and they didn't have any money. So how did they get this army of people so loyal to them? Why wouldn't the army of people just turn on them and go,
we're taking
where's the fucking money?
Yeah.
Take us to the money now. But, there's, I don't know.
Mr. Terrific.
Mr. Terrific getting his ass handed to him. Absolutely handed to him. That they have to do something with that character soon. He has to get T-spheres. He has to do something. Otherwise, it is going to be a joke.
He's making jokes about it now.
Yeah, it's like, if that had been me, I would have sprayed my wrist. Yeah. Then what the fuck are you doing on this team, dude? Either stay behind the scenes and do what you do best, or develop some tech that actually gives you an advantage in the field, which is what you need to do. Anyway, we'll see how it happens. The backstory, the flashbacks
have to be done.
That was
almost.
like I don't understand what the
Yeah.
point of any of that was, other than to try to tie it into the current story.
But
somehow the theme of sins,
who gives a
that's all
shit?
it was. Like it was
Yeah.
just you've got your sins, you've got yours, I've got mine. We've all got sins. That's what the theme was. That's all it was.
Oh yeah,
And that's the only way that tied in. But
rate it or hate it.
hate it this week, which is frustrating. I don't want to, but like to be honest with you, I didn't get into it.
Yeah, I'm the same. I think Arrow's done.
It's not done, man. It's been too.
It's been this season has been a comeback, but now it's just like dropping.
Well, what do they do?
Yeah, where do they go?
Where do they take this character that they've built up so much, this Prometheus character? How do they make that last for the rest of the season?
Yeah.
As a viable threat. We'll see what happens. I'm by no means willing to write the show off yet. That's for sure. So that's it.
That's it. Weekly wrap.
That is the weekly wrap. That probably went longer than what we would expect the weekly wrap to go. But these are the things that we're going to work out as we go. We kind of wanted to drop the whole just a top moment if we're going to bring it into its own format. But we'll see. We'll see what happens. Let us know what you think.
Yeah, let us know what you think of all these week's episodes. Do you agree with our rate and hates?
Yeah. Let us know what you thought, and you can do that by following us on Facebook at Comic Confidential. You've got the Comic Confidential listener community on Facebook as well. There's Instagram and Twitter at Comic Con Pod.
Got a YouTube.
We've got the YouTube. We've got the Snapchat, Comic Con Pod. We've got the website, comicconpod.com.
If you want to support the show, jump on Patreon. That's patreon.com/Comic Con Pod. Support the show from 25 cents a week or $1 a month.
Either way, but I think it has to be $1 a month.
It's $1 a month.
Yeah. And speaking of $1 a month, we've also got the Comic Blitz promotion. If you guys love comics, $1 a month for 3 months. Use the promo code ComicConPod. Get yourself access to a whole shit ton of comics.
There is if you have to, I said this in the previous episode, you have to tell me a reason why you won't take that offer up.
Yeah. Get back to Cade. You can catch Cade on Twitter at, what's your thing? What's your Twitter handle?
Next thing.
Yeah, look, hit us up. Hit us up and let us know what you thought and why you're not doing that thing
Yeah.
with the comics.